Masks have always fascinated me, and on Kaleidoscope today we thought of taking a look at some Sri Lankan masks, some exotic, some mysterious, some funny and some frightening even. Welcome to Kaleidoscope with me, Savitri Rodrigo. The craft of mask making is a staple in Ambalangoda. This is the Raksha mask or the demon mask, probably the most colourful and fearful of traditional masks. These masks come in 24 different forms, including the cobra, hawk eagle, flower eagle and the peacock. Ahead on the program is Sunetra Bandaranayake on Selinko Life Let's Talk, Jehan Ismail and Heminda Jayavira on our Empower Capital News Capsule, and Dinushika Gunaratna on Life in 60. Plus lots of news, serious and fun from the week that was. We are looking at some of our traditional Sri Lankan masks today. For those of you familiar with Sri Lankan folk theatre, kolam masks are used for storytelling, like these lovable characters Nonchiyakka, Hewa, Jasaya and Lenchina. Now on with our Empower Capital snapshot. Unemployment in the fourth quarter of 2020 in Sri Lanka dropped to 5.2% from 5.8% in the third quarter. The World Bank warns that Sri Lanka's debt sustainability is at risk, with publicly guaranteed debt approaching 115% of GDP. Sri Lanka now has its own Bath Curry indicator. Based on the Economist Big Mac tracker, the indicator tracks the price of food items in a regular pack of rice and curry each week. For the first time in Sri Lanka, a cable system will be used to transport tea leaves from tea plantations on the Hettikanda and Palmadulla mountains in Ratnapura. For the 12th year, Iceland is the most gender-equal country in the world. The World Economic Forum's Gender Gap report also puts Finland, Norway, New Zealand and Sweden in the top 5. Deepa Mehta's film based on Shyam Selvadurei's Funny Boy got an unprecedented 9 nominations at the Canadian Screen Awards. The seats have been filled for the first all-civilian flight crew on the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule to take off in September this year. A 121-year-old chocolate bar from a batch commissioned by Queen Victoria has been found in its original tin in an attic of an English manor.
With Empower Capital as your investment solutions partner, your investment allocation will be determined by financial intelligence and not emotion. Empower Capital, building relationships in for the long term.
Sanni masks are mainly used in healing ceremonies and worn by an Edura, who is sort of a Sri Lankan exorcist. There are 18 Sanni masks, each specializing in curing specific illnesses. And now we begin our Empower Capital News Capsule with a macro look at post-pandemic Sri Lanka. With the World Bank optimistic that South Asia will have a robust recovery of 7.2% in 2021 and Sri Lanka predicted to grow 3.3%, I asked Director and CEO of Empower Capital, Jehan Ismail, which industry sectors he feels holds promise, what pitfalls we need to be aware of, and what lessons have been learned in the past year.
It's 3 things. One is construction, that's definitely going to take off. The other one is logistics and transport and things like that. And the most important one, which I'm seeing all around now, is manufacturing with a lot of value addition. A lot of people are focusing on politics and macroeconomic factors like how much debt we owe the world and things like that. I think we should just get back to basics. All they do is focus on what they do best, conserve their monies, save what they can, cut their costs, add value and export. In the last year, what happened was everything was sort of brought down to a level playing field globally. And as a result, a lot of us, even individually, were saving money and things like that. And as a result of that, good habits came in where we are spending less on unnecessary things, saving our money and actually using it for something where we can actually add value, multiply that and then sell. So those habits, that austerity, that what the Japanese have been doing for years, I think is slowly filtering it into our society.
The Colombo stock market gathered momentum this week, with the all-share price index up by 2.8%, with the daily average turnover increasing to 3.4 billion rupees. Oil prices ended steady at close to $60 per barrel this week, and gold prices remain still weak at $1,743 per ounce, trading within a narrow band supported by a weaker US dollar. With Sri Lanka losing its forest cover rapidly, primarily due to short-sightedness, lack of value for the environment and badly planned development, technology has come to the fore via an app to plant 2 million trees in Sri Lanka. Over 45,000 trees have already been planted by over 9,000 people around the country, and here's co-founder of Thuru, Heminda Jayavira, with more of this panacea for deforestation we are all looking for.
We know that there's a lot of deforestation happening, but of course something we have to do for reforest, but then 1 or 2 trees won't help. So we have to have more people planting more trees, and also it is not just planting, it's you have to make sure that you look after the plants as well. So what Thuru app would do is, you can upload a picture of a plant that you planted and you can geotag and you can show where it is planted, all the details, and it will always remind you every 3 months or maybe 6 months, upload more pictures, and there's a point system that goes up and you can see all the people who are planting trees using Thuru app, and already we have about 45,000 trees already uploaded in the app. So it's nice to see on a Sri Lanka map, and also there's a leaderboard who are the people who are planting more trees. So it's we are adding a bit of gamification into whole this tree planting exercise and make it a bit more trendy.
COVID-19 has financially ruined many people last year, except for the world's billionaires, whose combined wealth with 660 new entrants has soared to $13.1 trillion US dollars. Jeff Bezos with $177 billion US dollars is still in first place. Elon Musk is in second place with $155 billion US dollars, and Kim Kardashian makes it into the list with a meager $1 billion US dollars. Forbes reveals that 40 new billionaires joined the list because of their COVID-19 related business ventures such as vaccines, testing systems and PPE distribution. This is the dying town. The little town of Civita in Italy has resisted death for long. Over centuries, landslides, earthquakes, cracks and erosion reduced its size dramatically. It now sits spectacularly alone on the top of a spur measuring less than 2 soccer pitches, with its main square the size of a basketball court. Just as Sri Lanka is facing a massive heat wave, Thailand is too. To temper some of the heat, the 50 tigers at Tiger Kingdom got a treat of frozen chicken popsicles and were enticed to splash in a wading pool in the zoo. And that's it on our Empower Capital News Capsule. We'll be back with Sunetra Bandaranayake on Selingco Life. Let's talk.
With Selingco Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for your retirement today. Selingco Life, a relationship for life.
Sri Lanka has a slew of laws and regulations enshrining the principle accessibility for all in the context of the differently abled, from the National Policy of Sri Lanka on Disability 2005 to laws and regulations made in 2006 to the Disability Rights Bill of 2010 to the Supreme Court orders in 2011. Equal opportunity for the disabled is all there in print. However, that's as far as it goes. There is little recognition of the differently abled who are marginalized by their own families, society, communities and the country they live in. There is limited disabled-friendly access, special education is not in the mainstream and very few are actually aware of the law or rights. As we saw how ignorant the authorities were when a dyslexic student requested support during his O-level examination. The founder of Sunera Foundation, Sunetra Bandaranayake, has seen it all, having worked with the differently abled for over 20 years. She began using the arts as a medium of communication and the results have been extraordinary. Here she is on Selingco Live. Let's talk. Sunetra, what sort of environment do specially able people actually live in Sri Lanka?
First of all, let's look at the conditions into which they are born. They are from the poorest of the poorest families in the country. In the hinterland of our country, the vast number of them are born into really poor, I won't say low income, almost no income families. Usually the fathers beat up the mother saying you have committed a sin in your previous birth, that's why this child is born, and they walk away. So the mother has to look after all the children, earn a living, and so no child gets a proper meal a day. So such children don't have medical facilities, no school, nothing. They are just living in the house. They have their fundamental rights exactly the same as we have it. But nobody talks about it, nobody wishes to recognize it. The families do not know what fundamental rights means, so nothing is done for them by any government worth talking of, because there are many things that should be done. For example, special classes in schools, there's very little of that and hardly any education. Then accessibility in public places, medical attention to the various needs they have, right? And there must be some way of finding money to make a donation every month to a household which has a differently abled child.
How do you see the arts empowering specially able people?
I have always realized what a fantastic thing arts is. That's drama, music, painting, call it what you like, arts. And my good friend Wolfgang Stanger has been using those techniques in England for a long time to develop differently able young people. He introduced it to Sri Lanka and introduced me to his work, and it's from then that we have gradually picked up the techniques and worked over the years. For a child who has been stuck in the back room of a house, if you like, to come onto a space where there are 20 or 30, even 40 others enjoying themselves, playing a role, right? Whatever the role may be, not themselves but somebody else. It gives them such joy, so memorable for them, they never forget it.
So tell me a little bit about the objectives of this book, Wings, the Sunera story.
20 plus years later, we thought that it was time we spoke out, not only to people in Sri Lanka but to others abroad. There are lots of others abroad who have been very supportive of it, about the work we are doing. So the whole book sets out with beautiful photographs and beautiful writing the story of Sunera from its birth up to the 20th year. So anybody picking up that book will get not only pleasure at looking at the pictures, but when you read it, the whole story is laid out step by step, what we do in the workshops, how important the trainers are to us, how important the mothers are, what the mothers have to say about how their children have developed since they came to us. So we thought it was high time we spoke out.
So what is your vision for Sri Lanka in the space of specially able people?
I think much more needs to be done by the government, whichever government is in power. It's all in that act. It's not rocket science. It can be done easily. Plus, they should involve people like us and any other organization that is already well into working with people with who are differently able. Bring them all on board. Form an organization, like an umbrella organization. Discuss what each one has been doing, what more they can do, where do we stand vis-a-vis funds, and the government can be the one who's overseeing it all. And we meet periodically, compare what each one has done in the most friendly, amicable manner, and I am 100% sure that that's the only way to do it.
What a story I've read in this book. Wings, the Sunera story is so uplifting and so inspirational. You must be a part of this journey. Get a copy. It's available at all leading bookstores and online at 4,500 rupees.
With Selingco Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for a retirement today. Selingco Life, a relationship for life.
What you're seeing here is the Garuda mask, believed to be the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, who battles cobra demons. The dance itself is believed to be therapeutic and is generally performed to save villagers from snake bites. And speaking of villagers, here's a young lady who has decided to uplift small communities by upcycling local material and upscaling Sri Lankan craft just using the sari. Founder Director of Sustainably, Dinushika Gunaratna is on Life in 60 today.
Our journey began in 2019. Our aim was to promote sustainable living and bring together a range of eco-friendly, sustainable items all under one brand to make it convenient for our consumers to make this lifestyle switch. We are a proudly Sri Lankan lifestyle brand, and we have a range of eco-friendly, upcycled, sustainable items. Our portfolio ranges across homeware, personal care, upcycled stationery, reusable bags made with upcycled saris. We source locally, exclusively through our local cottage industries. Through this, we not only support our local artisans, but working with our community groups, we also help uplift their livelihoods. We started as a stall at the Saturday Good Market, and now I'm happy to say that we retail in almost 15 outlets across the island and also overseas as well.
Now, isn't that ultra fashionable? And you're reducing your carbon footprint too. Thank you, Dinushika, for sharing Sustainably's story on Life in 60 today. Thank you to each of you who keep writing to us. Please don't stop. We love your feedback. Our email address is kaleidoscopeweekly1@gmail.com, or simply scan the QR code, get into our channel and subscribe or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. In these times, you must wash your hands. Use Amami hand wash. It comes in some great fragrances, keeps your hands not just smelling fresh and feeling fresh too, but also ultra clean. Sri Lanka celebrates Sinhala and Tamil New Year next week. We'll be back with you just after with an Aurudu special. We have Block and Dino with us next week. Now, keep this kaleidoscope takeaway in mind. It is not our differences that divide us. It's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences.